basically moral development is about extending the circle of who you think is worthy of moral consideration. All right? So we start out being egocentric. So me and maybe mommy and daddy, my immediate, especially me, is deserving of whatever I can get. Then I become, clan-centric and include more people. I become ethnocentric and include a bigger number of people. And this is where actually a lot of people stop in this world, is that they only think that people in their own tribe or their own nation maybe is worthy of moral consideration in the same way they are, which is why we hear about the number of Americans who died in Iraq, but almost never hear about the number of Iraqis who died in Iraq. There's, certain centers of gravity around that. And as we move forward, we have, eventually, as we move into green, we have a world-centric consciousness where everybody is included, every human being is included. And then there's actually a stage beyond that, and it starts coming in at green, and of course there are people who have always spiked into this moral territory in this one line of development. It may be center of gravity, orange or modern or so forth. But they begin to see that animals, too, have a sentience, and that they are also inside the circle of creatures and beings that are worthy of moral consideration. And that's one of the things that is absolutely happening. It's just a natural function of development. As we, first of all, again, moral development is about learning things. We learn about animals feeling pain, and we learn about the emotional systems of animals. And we have pets, and we realize, oh my goodness, there's a being in there. There's somebody who sees me and I can see and who loves me, and there's a second person. There's an actual we space that I can have with another animal. And then it becomes untenable to accommodate these meat factories, these huge confinements where these animals are treated as units of production. They're widgets in a system of eggs or milk or meat in a way that doesn't take their interiors into account. And that's no longer acceptable. Now, you can go a couple ways there. One is to become vegetarian. It just actually becomes, it's like if somebody would offer you a piece of, if Hannibal Lecter offered you a piece of delicious human liver, with fava beans and a nice Chianti, you literally, you wouldn't put it in your mouth, and if he tricked you and you'd throw up. I mean, it's just it's untenable at that point. And that's not a decision, actually. That's an expansion of the heart. And it is inevitable. And I think one of the things that we will look back on as human beings in maybe it's 100 years, or I think certainly in 200 or 300 years, the idea of raising animals for meat will be seen as, really? It'll be abhorrent, because, we'll have other ways of, getting meat, protein, whatever, artificially. They're working on that now, these artificial hamburgers that, and so forth. I think that's where we're headed. I'm not sure that there is, as I mentioned, the one way to go is vegetarian. The other way to go is eat what you kill. So if you can kill it, you can eat it. Because, the world is set up. God set it up so that life feeds on life and animals feed on animals. And as long as the animal is treated with some dignity and respect, it's certainly morally better to do that than to support the agribusiness, meat factories that are, so distressing to people at a certain level of development.